What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. If you're new to the channel, I am waiverwirequeen. Today, we are going to talk about Treylon Burks. There's a lot going on with Treylon Burks. Some of you may be having buyer's remorse or doubts about drafting him so far in your Dynasty League, and we're going to talk about that today. Let's get it.
Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast with Waiver Wire Queen.
That's right. Big shout outs to Tony Anthemz for the amazing beat. Y'all make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you play fantasy football, we have a lot of great content, which is going to help you prepare for the upcoming season and going to help you throughout your fantasy football season, because the goal is to win your league, and we got you over here. So let's talk about Treylon Burks, y'all. Yes. Woo. I didn't have the opportunity to draft Treylon Burks. However, I've watched some people draft him. It's the number one pick. That's right, over Breece Hall, over Drake London, because at the time, Treylon Burks was their guy. Some people, and pretty much in all of the leagues I am in, Treylon Burks is no longer their guy, and they're trying to trade him. I watched a trade yesterday. One guy didn't even know that Treylon Burks was having some issues, and this guy made that trade, and now the guy's like, hey, whoa, why you didn't tell me? Hey, I always say this. Make sure you do your homework before you hit that accept button, okay? Make sure you just check the notifications, everything, to make sure that there's nothing suspicious or crazy going on. And so with Treylon Burks, he's had issues so far since being drafted by the Tennessee Titans. I'll tell you this, it's a lot to take in. And the biggest question is, should you be concerned? Hell yeah, you should be concerned, okay? I'm not concerned because I don't have him, but if you have him, you definitely should be concerned. And I know people were saying, well, they were talking about Jamar Chase, da-da-da-da-da. That was a little bit different. They were saying Jamar Chase forgot how to catch, or he was dropping a lot of balls. So what? Guess what? We all know what Jamar Chase is. However, asthma is something very different than dropping a few passes in the NFL. And not saying that Treylon Burks isn't going to, have a nice career, or he's going to get control of the asthma, but right now it's not looking good. My biggest thing for the Titans is, how do you trade away your number one wide receiver in AJ Brown, who you already knew what to expect of him, for a talented, unproven rookie who they admitted to knowing he had asthma? Now, you don't discriminate and you still, draft him if you feel like he's your guy. However, this is a concern. I'll tell you, as someone who has asthma, it can be a challenge, especially if the humidity is crazy. Like, I'm out here in Texas, the humidity is a hot mess right now, and sometimes I'll feel like someone is sitting right on my chest. So I can imagine what Treylon Burks is going through, considering he's trying to adjust to the NFL, and grown men, the best of the best in football, and at their speed, practices and everything is different. Drills, everything is different. It's nothing like what he experienced in college. Just throw that away. It ain't the same. It's not the same. And now he's being triggered by asthma. I don't know. Could it be the humidity out in Tennessee, and then everything else that's going on with the, adjusting to a new way of training and practicing? That can play a part and also trigger the asthma. The asthma, let's be real, can be triggered at any point in time. So he's just going to have to figure out how to adjust, because they invested a lot in him. But again, the most important thing is for him to get it under control. His health is far more important than any game, because he can get in a game and get sick, and we don't want that to happen. So the most important thing is for him to get it under control and then get back on the field. He's missed some practice. He hasn't been able to finish practices, but that is the right thing to do. With asthma, you can't play around with it, because when you can't breathe, that is real as hell. So should owners be concerned about him? Yes. Not saying he's not going to get on the field and play and not be the greatest wide receiver for the Titans. That is still possible, but he's going to have to first get a handle on the asthma before anything else. Because if the asthma is still triggered and he is adjusted, he's adjusted to how the NFL players train, it's still not going to work because the asthma is got to be the main focus that he gets under control. So he has to get that under control first, and then start being able to train and get used to playing as a pro. The kid has talent, okay? They didn't trade away their top guy just because they wanted to bring in a rookie. Part of it was because they didn't want to pay AJ Brown all that money, and they said, oh, we can go get the younger guy. So they better be right about their pick, because again, at least we know what AJ Brown brings to the table. Now you're bringing in an unproven rookie who I will say is very talented. However, you know that he has asthma, and right now it's flaring up. He's going to have to get that under control before he can, to me, step back on the football field and do anything else. So again, if you do have him, you should be concerned. All right. I'm more concerned about his health because I understand what he's going through. But if you have him in fantasy, you definitely should be concerned. I would say at least hold on to him and just see what happens. Don't just sound the alarm like, oh my God, it's over. There is a concern, and you should be monitoring the situation. And if it gets any worse, then you need to be trying to move on from him. But I don't feel like his trade value is that high right now, considering we continue to hear that he's unable to finish practices. And again, people say it's the Jamar Chase, similar to Jamar Chase. No, Jamar Chase was dropping some passes and just, again, getting used to playing as a pro with the best players in the world. That is different than not being able to breathe because you have asthma. Two different things, and I don't even like to compare the two because it's not the same, okay? He's going to have to handle that first, so you should be concerned. And if someone offered me a good deal for him, I would take it, because that's just something that as a fantasy owner, I wouldn't want to deal with. I wouldn't want to deal with that stress. However, he's very talented, so you got to be careful with giving him away too soon, and he ends up being ends up being better than AJ Brown. Again, we don't know that. However, you have to be cautious and don't take this lightly. It's serious, and you should be treating it as a serious matter as an owner of a fantasy football team. And if you can move on from him, then you got to do what you got to do. But just make sure you get something of real value, because if you invest in a top 5 pick and now you're trading him for like a third, oh, hell no. You might as well just hold on to him and see what happens. Let's be clear. The asthma is going to work itself out. They're going to get that under control. They have the best doctors in the damn world, okay? They're going to get it under control. So don't panic. But if it's a really good deal, then you go for it. But if it's something where they're lowballing you and it's like, oh, come on now, don't be crazy. Hold on to him, because the asthma he's going to get that under control. They're going to get that under control. And then you'll start hearing some more positives about Burks in training camp. Don't panic. But if the right deal comes, go on and hit that accept button. And again, guys, don't accept the trade if you haven't checked the latest updates on a player, because you may be getting got, okay? And again, with Treylon Burks, if a good deal comes, take it. But if not, just hold on to him, because this shall pass, okay? This too shall pass, okay? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button and leave some comments and let me know your thoughts of the Treylon Burks situation. Do you think it is a wrap and he's going to be a bust? Or do you think he's going to be able to get through this? I think he's going to get through it and have a very good career. Okay, I'm crossing my fingers and I'm rooting for the kid to prove people wrong. Because again, people are already throwing him away like he's just a bust. He ain't even play a game yet. Let's get the games going. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast.